Hi there, in the next 40 video clips I'm going to go through the entire new GCSE syllabus in chemistry. This course is also suitable for those at the foundation level studying this wonderful subject. If you look around where you are now in a room outside, everything consists of three states of matter: solids, liquids and gases. These solids, liquids and gases are composed of smaller things called atoms. But what is an atom? They're like little balls, and they contain inside them protons, neutrons and electrons. But the first term you need to know is what is an element. An element is something that contains the same atoms. So if I took copper, it consists only of copper atoms. If I took oxygen, it only consists of oxygen atoms. These elements are arranged in a table according to their properties, or more specifically their electronic structure, but I'll be talking to you about those a bit later. A very simple periodic table arranges the atoms in terms of columns and rows. Let's look at a simple diagram. Here it is. I'm going to put that at the top. This is hydrogen, symbol H, and this is helium. And if I go across there like that, it's a bit like a spreadsheet, but I'll tell you a little bit more about those later. And there's 8 of these groups, columns, like in a spreadsheet. These are group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that'd be groups 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and group 8, or group O in fact. And I'll tell you in a next video later down why it's called group 8 or group O. It's common sense that things in the same group have similar properties, like the Beatles come from Liverpool, they were musicians, they were friends, they got similar properties. The things going across are called periods. Again, they have something in common as well. For exam purposes, you only have to know 20 elements. Elements are represented by symbols, generally just one, but some of them have 2, so such as hydrogen, symbol H, oxygen, symbol O, etc. But then you get some that have 2 symbols, big letter, small letter, like sodium, Na. This is a very simple periodic table, and elements consist of single atoms. Like hydrogen, I've already said, only consists of 1 atom. What happens when these atoms combine? Well, when you get different types of atoms, they form compounds. So let's look at a very simple compound. Its formula is NaCl, sodium chloride. This is sodium NaCl chlorine. And how's that been made or formed? And atoms of sodium have combined with atoms of chlorine. to form sodium chloride. Let's look at a second example. I'll be going into more about these formulas. H2O, the wet stuff. Water. What it consists of, you can see, is atoms of hydrogen and atoms of oxygen. I'll be doing a bit more on formulas and equations in a later module, but for the time being, compounds are formed when two or more atoms combine together. Let's look at a final one, calcium carbonate, CoCO3. It contains three types of atoms: calcium, Ca, C, carbon, O, oxygen. I'll be doing more on the formulas, but that is succinctly a compound is formed when two or more atoms combine together. And the final thing on this first module which you need to know is what is a mixture. A mixture is simply two or more compounds mixed together. Notice the word mixed. They're not physically, chemically combined together. And a very simple example is if I took something like water, there it is, water, and if I chucked in a handful of sand, that is now a mixture of water and sand. Do they dissolve? Does the sand dissolve? The answer is no. And a little few more facts. The solvent is the liquid water. Now let's change that now to, instead of sand, I put in salt. You know that stuff you stick on your fish and chips? Sand is sodium chloride, NaCl. If I put it into the water, I mix it up, it dissolves. So there's now two or three different things I've just explained. The stuff, the solid, which is going to be dissolved in the solvent, and that is the sodium chloride is the solute. The substance is being dissolved in the solvent water. In the next module, I'll be talking you through how you separate mixtures. Okay, so that concludes now the first little module where I've spoken about atoms and the periodic table. The next module is I'm going to look at how to separate mixtures.